Good evening, everyone. How are you after marching all over New York City yesterday, right? And also flooding Wall Street today? Anybody here? All right. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Michelle DePass. I'm the Dean of the Milano School of International Affairs, Public Policy, and Management here at the New School, and we welcome you all here. Thank you. A few months ago, Eddie Battista and Elizabeth Jean-Pierre was speaking with me, and they were like, hey, you're at the New School now. Could you all host a meeting of the local organizing committee? And I said, sure, how big a space do you need? And they were like, maybe 500. And the first meeting of the local organizing committee actually happened here. And we have been involved and committed and marching with you step by step since that day. Thank you. So you have an amazing panel here to be able to listen to over the course of the next hour and a half. So I don't want to stay up here long. I just wanted you to know that we are humbled and activated to be able to work with you on your agenda. Earlier today, there were conversations around dams, waste, and energy, conversations about food sovereignty. And for me, somebody who's been actively working on these issues with you for a couple of decades, this is the collision of the right moment to be able to have us turn the paradigm on its head. So we are welcoming you here. Milano is a space, if you're out there and you're thinking about getting a graduate degree, this is what we do at Milano. So shoot me an email at milanoofficeofdean@newschool.edu if that's what you're interested in, because we are committed to climate justice and are going to be working on this forever. So I'm going to sit down now, and it just gives me great thrill to be able to work here with Tom Goldtooth, who has been schooling me for quite a few years on the agenda, and I just want to thank you publicly, Tom. I rarely get the opportunity to thank you publicly for all the work that you've done. So welcome, enjoy.
I'm not Tom Goldtooth, by the way. I look like Tom Goldtooth, but 30 years ago. I'm his son, Dallas Goldtooth, by the way. Oh, thank you. I worked really hard at that. I really did. Or he did, actually. So we're going to actually start off with a video. I belong to a comedy group called the 1491s. So there's some fans that know about it. That's the T-shirt. So yeah, I'm gonna play it, and I'm not really gonna describe what it is until maybe after, but kind of set the tone here. I'm actually kind of excited for this because it's kind of weird. All right, are you guys ready? Yeah. All right. I told you it was going to get weird. That just happened. You know what? That last shot of everybody in the audience there, they're all dancing together, was actually at a event sponsored by the Smithsonian of National American Indian. They asked us to do a presentation. And all those people are dancing to no music. there was no music playing, so we were just like dancing. So everyone's like, get it, grind it hard, So that was quite funny. And also, you remember, everyone knows the famous Malcolm X speech where he goes, brothers and sisters, and what did he say, agents? What did he say? He acknowledges the agents in the crowd. But for Indians, I feel like you always have to say brothers and sisters and white cougars. I got, as I'm sure right now, there are some white cougars amongst us that like brown men. Thank you for being here. Yes, I just said that. And for the Spanish translation, cougars, I'm not actually talking about the animal cougar. I'm talking about older white women that like younger ethnic men. You're out there. I know you are. You're probably here with your Guatemalan husband right now. So this is a night of truth. This is truth telling right now. Preach, brother, preach. So, yeah, I'm not shopping, all right? I'm not. Unless you're willing to fund the Indigenous Environmental Network, then, The 1491s, the group I belong to, is a comedy group where we do a lot of social media, we make a lot of videos, and we do comedy as well as more serious tone stuff. And the whole purpose of it is to break down the imagery of what Native Indigenous people look like, and really challenge that. Not only for outsiders, but also to challenge ourselves as Native people, challenge what it means to be an indigenous person today. And so, we decided to take on the hipster, the person that, the cultural appropriation cookie monster, I just made that up. Cultural vampire, cultural raccoons, those that steal and thieve. Anyways, so we did the whole take on that, and that was quite fun to do. So my name is Dallas Goldtooth, and I want to kind of set the tone for tonight. And yeah, and now my dad has to follow me in that. I get my quirkiness, my odd kind of sense of humor from a good part from my dad and my mom. But if you don't know Tom, he does have an interesting sense of humor that I pick up at times. He does a lot of sci-fi references, and most of you don't know. Anyone like the movie Dune, the first one, the original one? Fear is the mind killer. That's the teaching. But I just want to say, in a serious note, that I am just so happy I'm here to be in this space. I'm typically not too ecstatic to be in this city, but in the context in which I'm here, I can't put enough words to have shared the spaces that we've shared, all the folks in here. So each and every one of you are amazing people and warriors and in your own right. And we just wanted to take a chance here. I just want to acknowledge all of you that were participating in the talks, the teach-ins, the march, the actions. All of it is just amazing. So I just want to acknowledge every one of you. So thank you very much for that. And so at this time, I want to introduce my dad, Tom Goldtooth. And he's also my boss, which goes with the territory of him being my dad. But also, I am the Keystone XL campaign organizer for the Indigenous Environmental Network. And thank you. I hope not to have that title for long because we'll stop the pipeline, so. And in the capacity here on the ground, I also help just coordinate a lot of the just indigenous activities and events and stuff like that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Tom Goldtooth, my dad.
He's not really my son. There was a basket with a little baby in it. Basket was flowing down the river. And the baby was really crying. And we heard it. And so some of the young men went and got the basket and found this little baby. Really naked. Crying. No, thank you. Thank you, Michinksi. So my son, thank you. We wanted to create an atmosphere tonight because it's been many days. It's been really difficult for all of us. It's not just a 4-hour march that was awesome. 400,000 people, they say. And worldwide, I hear numbers like over 3,000 or 4,000 people worldwide in streets like London came out to support this march. And our indigenous brothers and sisters from the 4 directions of our Mother Earth who came and marched in the street. To all of you, thank you very much for your sacrifice to come here. It could have been a little more than 400, a little less than 400, but that we're rounding off the figures. And some of us that were in the front of the march, we're trying to stand on tiptoes to look way back on the different banners. And it was more than 1 block. It went into 2 blocks of indigenous peoples. So we're very excited to be here. Many of you have heard our stories. Many of you have heard the long history of how colonization has affected our peoples. Many of you have heard, especially here at this climate march, you have heard how climate change is affecting our communities, whether we're in the Arctic region where the ice is literally melting, or whether it's our indigenous peoples in the small islands, or whether it's our relatives, our tribal peoples in Africa, Southeast Asia, in the Americas, all the way from the Arctic to the Horn of Argentina, or whether it's our brothers and sisters, the Sami, our indigenous peoples of Russia. We have people throughout what we call Mother Earth, Grandmother Earth, who have a close relationship to the land. And it's been very hard for me to convey in words, especially the English language, on what that unique, special relationship is to Mother Earth. But that expression is a living expression. It's a spiritual expression with many of our indigenous peoples who are here. Because woven into our culture and woven into our language is this profound spiritual relationship that defines how we walk and live on Mother Earth. So we wanted to create an atmosphere tonight, weaving together our story, but weaving together also our celebration for life itself. Because my elders also tell me a lot about the work that I do. I had a teacher, he passed on. I call him my grandpa. Passed away in 93. And he would say to me that never forget that relationship that you have with Mother Earth. And that woven into that is what my son conveys in that happiness and humor. Some of you may not understand this part. Those of you that may weave into some of our cultures. I have Hyoka ways, our thunder being ways, and my son, I tease him, he has Hyoka ways. The humor, the contraries, thinking the contraries. So sometimes people think I'm very stoic and very serious. But you don't know how I am in my families. I try to be more light than I am out here in the world. And I do joke. I do joke and tease. So we wanted to create that atmosphere, definitely to talk about the seriousness of who we are in our struggles. Yes, you've heard many of that. And to talk about the climate change, the changing environment. We all experience the effects of colonization. Many of you also here experience the effects of colonization, neo-colonialism. Part of putting together this program and networking with a big alliance of social justice and environmental justice and climate justice communities. The Climate Justice Alliance. How many are with the Climate Justice Alliance? Yell out here, yell out. The Climate Justice Alliance comes from frontline communities, just like us as indigenous peoples, frontline communities on the front line of struggle. Why are we in struggle? Why are we fighting for something in order to have a healthy future for our people? Why is it that we have a society like that we have to fight and struggle for our lives and livelihood? Something in that struggle is what brings us together. Our indigenous people here in North America, some people label us as American Indians, Native Americans, Alaska Natives, First Nations. Some people call us, you dirty Indian. Or you just a red man. Don't shoot them until you see the red of their eyes. The military, even to this day, they go to Iraq, they go to the Middle East, they say we're going into Indian country. We're going into Indian country. So even the militarization, the terminology of conquest and militarization and imperialism, colonization, it's woven into the system. And that's why all of us in the Climate Justice Alliance, frontline communities, African American communities, Latino communities, Asian communities, poor white folk communities, workers, indigenous native people, we're saying we need a systems change, not climate change. We're trying to change a system that doesn't want to change. So woven into this story of who we are as indigenous peoples is we're bringing together that terminology of colonialism, colonization. Now we're fighting climate change, which is carbon dioxide being burnt, combustion, going into the atmosphere, settling, into the environment, our ecosystem, our forests, our deserts, our waters. CO2. That's why you see in our messaging CO2 colonialism. We're bringing it out as a message. What ties us together with our brothers and sisters of the Andes, our brothers and sisters of the Amazon, our brothers and sisters of the North in Alaska, tar sands, fracking, is we're fighting for our lives around stopping and halting CO2, carbon dioxide. There's too much of it in the atmosphere. So we're going to have a chat here, so you get to know the speakers here. And to get them ready, I'm going to ask you some questions when I sit down to tell us about your family. Where do you come from? Do you have children? Do you have brothers and sisters? Tell us about your community. We don't often hear that. So before we start, we ask one of our young daughters, our sisters, our niece to come up here. Takaya Blaney, please come up. She wants to share a song with you. She wants to share a song with you. And she's been standing with you for many years already. We met her when she was 11, and she came down to Rio de Janeiro to Rio Plus 20. And she moved the emotions of the people, talking about the defense of Mother Earth, the defense of the rights of the people of British Columbia. But we asked her to share a song with us. So I don't know who makes these adjustments. Come up here, and you're going to use these two mics here. Okay, so sometimes you going to use this or up there? Okay, we're going to, Takai, we're going to let you take it from here.
Acumes glaklas imod geanans quathoch teskaimuch nanchena uawoch quaquenam thoch double thoch aquaque no me ho stam skum klekau mo hu thumb so human hey some glaklas close tum sheo hey some glaklas hostum shekije ho as mud chenche haman kwasa mud husan hosmasam teklekau modnes kuakat numtumzo la iano ajumish glaklas imod geanans quathoch teskaimuch nanchena uawoch quaque nam thoch double thoch equaque no me. Thank you.
got me all choked up. No, really, that was something powerful, and my dad said he could sing like that if he really wanted to. But he's humble like that, so let other people do that. So acknowledge him in that humble way. For a lot of our Native folks, I realize there's out there in the world, there's a persona that a lot of people know in America, the persona of the preacher, and that has that preacher voice, and he's talking like a preacher. But I just realized that in a lot of Indian and Native communities, there's like a medicine man voice, kind of like that wise old sage that talks in that way, but not like the movie way, but like, just in that way. Felt like I was in ceremony there for a second. It's like, dang. But it's good. In that good way. Most of you don't have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's okay. No, I thank you, Takaya. And Takaya's going to actually come back on later on and perform again. And we also have a couple other performers that are going to be coming on up stage. And something that's been really amazing, and really kind of wasn't totally planned this way, but a lot of artists, a lot of musicians came to New York City, and it totally makes sense. There's such a close relationship between a lot of the activism and art. It goes hand in hand at times. So we have the wonderful group. I don't know if some of you heard of Eulali. Has anyone heard of Eulali? Oh, yeah. I was just kidding, because we all heard of Eulali, and they're going to be on stage later on also to perform. But first, we want to kind of go into a Q&A here. I think my Tom here is going to kind of facilitate that. It was kind of weird being here and organizing. Side story is that I don't know whether to say, oh yeah, my dad said this, or should I just say Tom? Because it makes it awkward. I'm saying, Tom says go organize over there, as opposed to my dad said go organize over there. It doesn't carry the oomph as saying Tom. So that's the troubles of being his son. So I'll leave it over to you. We're going to go into our little Q&A here, get to know who our artists are.
Thank you. Michunksi. They say there's a story back in the Great Lakes. We have many, many different tribes.
That's the voice.
And
that's the voice. I'm telling you.
The way our humor is, I don't want to stereotype, especially with our brothers from the South. Sometimes they're kind of frowning here. They don't understand maybe the humor of the indigenous peoples of the North. And they might go home and say, I took part in, I went to a session, and there was a lot of things they were saying that was confusing. No, there's an old song, they said. They said it was first our song, but I don't know. And someone was telling me this. I think it was someone from the Potawatomi. Any Potawatomis here? Anyone Potawatomi? Okay, I can go ahead then. The Potawatomi tribe, it's one of our indigenous tribes, and they're Algonquin speakers. They're, I guess the closest up here would be Josephine Madaman. Some of the dialect is the same. But they were saying that they had this song that they shared with some of the priests and the Jesuits who were coming in with the colonizers. And so they sang this song. And they said this was that song. Way ya da way da ya way ya way yo 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 way ya way ya way ya ya way yo yo way ya da ya way ya yo I want to say something about this song. I asked the elder about this song. And in his heart and in his mind, in the way that oral history was passed down, they composed that song. Really. And they shared that song with these people that were talking about something that was very spiritual. And that was the tie between us and the people that came that was carrying this very important compilation of words. And the cover was made from leather. And so that these people would read the words. And already they had some linguists with them that were able to capture language. Somehow they had linguists with them that traveled to our indigenous peoples. Maybe they did that already in some place in other parts of the world. They had someone that had the intellectual and something, they're able to capture the language. Because they communicated, and the words in those books talked about spiritual, profound spiritual things. And some of our teachings in the North, we talk about this pale one. Who is from the Cherokee people? Any from the Cherokee people? Well, I can get away with some more. But the Cherokee, they talk about the pale one. Long time ago, before the settlers came here, there was somebody that walked the land. And they said that that could have been that prophet, that man, Jesus. That's how we know a lot of old stories like that. Who knows? But that was a real personal, special song. I didn't just make that up. That was a story. Maybe we were composed that song. So I wanted to share that with my little niece here. It's an important song. And I want her the courage to sing that song because we are a singing people. So with that said, I have some people here that have come a long ways. And I wanted to ask them a question to share with us. Who are you? Who are you? Do you have a family back home? Do you have children? Who are your parents? What kind of world do you live in? Because when we talk about the indigenous worldview, we're talking about who we are. And tell us something good that happened to you before you came here, before you traveled. Tell us something good that came to you before you traveled here. And share with us some of the challenges that were there before you left. So I'm going to ask Crystal Lehman to start out. I look at her as a little niece because I know her uncle, Ron Lehman. We're a small world in the North, indigenous peoples. We know a lot of each other. Ron Lehman has been in the American Indian movement for many years. He's part of the International Indian Treaty Council, that is one of the indigenous organizations that were part of the drafting of the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Now it is an instrument that was passed in the United Nations. So this is his niece here. She's up from Canada, and I'm going to ask her that question. Share with us who you are. Thank you.
Ayman, that's a hard question, and I know you didn't mean to do this, but you know, I think a lot of times in this work, we get so caught up in talking about policies and procedures, the systemic issues. And I think a lot of us, I know for myself, I hold back. It's easy to get out there and just get in that frame of mind where you just have work. You have a goal, and I try not to think too much about back home. So this is not easy. But first of all, I want to say, dance, utse, squatame, pehtegwe, go, squatame, wewe. Nia Crystal Lehman, amisksagehikan, nehio, biagoskan, ustasimau, oyosewiwen, nagotosik. Hello, from the doorway in to the doorway out. I'm Crystal Lehman, Beaver Lake Cree Nation, Treaty 6. I'm also a mom. That's first and foremost, after who I am as an Indigenous person in the tribe that I come from, I'm a mom. And when people ask me, why do you do this work that you do? Because I was given that ability to give life. It's not by chance that we carry life in water, the milk of our mother, water. And I had that ability. I had that gift. My children, they chose me to be their mom. And so the last part of your question, the struggles, and what struggle did I have coming here? It's the same struggle that I have every time I have to travel as a single mom to 2 small kids. The struggle is having to leave my children. And when did it become okay that Indigenous people had to leave their home, that women had to leave their children to fight for their basic human rights and their inherent birthrights as Indigenous people? Nanas, come on.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to ask everyone, breathe really deep for her. Breathe really deep for why we are all here, for Mother Earth, but for all people, and for people like Crystal. Take a deep breath. I want to hear that deep breath from everyone. And let it out. Exhale it. And I'd like to ask my sister here. I have 2 sisters here. I'm talking of my sister Casey. We have relations, even though we may not be of the same tribe or have blood. We've known each other for a number of years. I've known her brothers. They also have a long history fighting for the Indigenous peoples. They come from a community who have given their lives. And so I'd like to ask my sister Casey Camp Hornick the same question.
Oh, I'm going to talk a lot longer. That was quick and easy, so I've got her time too. First of all, I want to... Oh, we had a good time today. Were any of you at the church today? Yeah, wasn't that fun? Yeah, that march was awesome. Judy, panka, abadi mashte panka wau nudahanga, panka padata. My non-colonized name is Judy. I'm a Ponca woman, a southern Ponca woman, Oklahoma. I'm the leader of the Women's Scalp Dance Society. And I take that real seriously. But tonight it was really fun Dallas to start with that. I asked him to do this one video for me today because it is so typical in so many ways of what we experience wherever we go. I'm going to talk about home in a minute, Tom. I was at the church today, offered a prayer at the end of our talk, and it kind of came, just came, right? And hugging and shaking hands afterwards, and everybody's leaving, and a lady comes up to me and she said, I want you to send me that prayer. I said, I just did. And she said, no, email it to me. I said, don't use a computer. That's true, I don't. So she said, all right, then handwrite it and mail it to me. And I said, I doubt if I'll do that. And she said, well, that's all right. I have other Native friends. And we've been using chants in my house for 40 years now. And they sound Native American. So thank you, Dallas, and 1491s. So that's not exactly like my house. So my house is in the country in Oklahoma. We live in a community called White Eagle. And that's kind of a tricky thing because he was kind of a sellout, but the white folks liked him, so they named the whole community for him. And, or Uncle Tomahawk, eh? So I live with my husband of 45 years. I have 15 to 22 grandchildren, depending on how you count them. Some are biological, some are not, all are loved. I have 3 or 8 great-grandchildren, depending on how you count them. I have, I'm the youngest of 6 at the age of 66. And I have 2 siblings that are in the spirit world. My sister 2 years ago, my brother Carter, as recently as December. I have 2 brothers that are strong activists that still live at home. I have one brother that's a capitalist and a preacher. We call him the white sheep of the family. He doesn't live around us. We refuse to be saved and repent enough, We live in very, very tough economic, social areas where the extractive industry is wreaking genocidal process on us. Of a community of 600 to 800, we average a funeral a week of cancers of varying sorts. Our babies are sometimes not making it to birth. My auntie passed the morning I arrived at the airport, 92 years old, of a cancer that took her out in 2 weeks. It's absolutely devastating there. Thank you to ConocoPhillips. Thanks to fracking. We have 300 earthquakes over a 3-point in Oklahoma this year alone. Myriads of pipelines underneath there. We're in the midst of an awesome campaign against Keystone XL. My relative Brian here is on the southern end of this, and so many of us along those lines are trying to help Crystal to save her relatives up in that part of the country. So laughter is part of our everyday life, or else we would die, just dealing with the overload of what goes on with us. But with those great-grandchildren needing to have 7 generations beyond them, instead we pray, we're strong, we laugh, and we move on. One good thing that happened, right? He was asking for one good thing before we came here. Thousands of good things happened. We got up in the morning, we breathed, we ate. The sun rose, We drank water from our well that's still good. All of those are good things. By the way, happy autumn. Equinox happened this evening. Yeah. We're at that time of balance. So 10 days ago, my husband and I got up for a morning walk, which we do every day, just to be happy, just feel good. And we walked out, and I said, hey, what is that at the end of the driveway? We live way in the country. The driveway's like to that exit out there. And I said, it looks like, and he said, a bald eagle? Yeah. There was a bald eagle standing at the side of our driveway out there, looking at us. Yeah, we're, one of those, right? And we started walking closer to him, to see and to pray. They come around our sweat lodge back there. Brian, you guys know where our sweat is, towards the back there. And they cruise around back there, sometimes sit back there. But we got a little bit closer to him, and he took off running a little bit, and his wing was this way. And so I went back in, called my girl. She called the Iowa Nation, which is about 30, 40 minutes away. They have a rescue. And Mr. Rubidoux said, we'll be right up there, And so we tried to stay back so that eagle wouldn't run from us. And when we stepped back outside the door, here he was sitting on an old cast iron stove in our driveway. And so we just set up chairs, and the eagle watched us, and we watched that eagle. And grandchildren came out. They sat around. We all watched each other, And soon the Ioways came, and Mr. Rubidoux, he was real happy. Victor Rubidoux and his son came. And they went out to our dance arbor out there. You remember where we ate in that arbor? Yeah. That eagle kind of went over that way and got right in the dance arbor. And they went and just put their arms around him and lifted him up. And he just kicked back like this. And we all visited one another. And they left. So, yeah, good things happen.
So we are storytellers, especially those of us that get older. Somebody asked us a question. Jihan used to get, Jihan's right here. Raise your hand, Jihan. She used to be our energy climate campaign organizer. Now she's the executive director of Black Mesa Water Coalition. All of our Dene, our Navajo Dene people, raise your hand. All right. All right. You didn't raise your hand. Okay. Okay. Storytelling. So people get impatient. They ask, as I get older, someone asks me a question. I respond, and I go all the way around now. And they say, you didn't respond, you didn't ask the question. You told a whole story just to ask the question, to answer the question. I'm getting like that. I am, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm 4 years younger than she is. So next, I want to ask my sister here from the Sapara, and we have a translator here. She's traveled a long ways to get here. So please tell us who you are. People don't know who you are. They don't know if you have a brothers. You don't know if you have a sister. Who's your mother? Tell us about your people. Some people said that her tribe is endangered. They're about ready to disappear. The United Nations, endangered tribe, like an endangered species. You may not know that, but she may not share that with you either. So share with us a little bit about who you are so people can know. And like my other sister, Casey, she even answered my second question I was going to ask later. You know, what are some of the things you're dealing with in your community? Thank you.
Ya, ñukanchik kay mashtimanta waña ñuka kay Sapara llaqtawamanta. Ñukanchik maranchik ñawpa punta ashka maranchik nación Sapara kunanganchik ashilla wawa sukta patsak pusak chunga walla tukurishariunchik. Imanga wata tukuriyunchik ñukanchik runaguna ñukanchik allpapi shamusha llampu wanchinawra.
I come from the Amazon in Ecuador. I come from the Sapara nation. We used to be a big nation in the Amazonian territory, and now we all been reduced to less than 500 people because of the immigration of other people to our ancestral land.
Y chimanda ñuka kay ñuka rukukuna kawsamunawra yuna ñukanchik allpay atun allpata charinchik ñukanchik yaku umamanta chi peruano llaqtamayankama. Chibi sakirishkawna ñuka yayakuna, ñuka yaya, ñuka achi, shuk achi, ashilla wawakuna chimanta maña ñukaga. Ñukanchik mashti unkuywan wañukashkawna ñuka achikuna llampu wañushpa tukurinawra sakiriranchikmi kazi ishkay chunga tupalla chimantami mirarisha kunanka chi sukta patsak pusak wakamanchik.
A lot of our community members have died for many different reasons. That has to be because of a lot of immigration, a lot of sicknesses in the community for sicknesses that we had not had before, and our territory got separated between Ecuador and Peru. So half of our tribe is half of our nation is located in the Peruvian border. And my father comes from a family of 12. We live in a very long spread out territory. There is no way we didn't used to have a lot of contact with the outside world until the evangelicals came out to our territory in the late 70s.
Chi tukurishkamanta ñuka yaya mashti apigashka wawata ñuka mamata como posa watawayukti chilla wata kugashkawana ñuka mamata ñuka yayaga ruku chimanta manchi ñukanchik ishkay chunga ishkay manchi warmi manchi kanchis kariman pichka chunga ishkay.
Yeah, we were all spread out. Now the government wants to develop around 26 oil blocks, pozos, platforms, 12 more than 26 oil platforms, and our community is going to need to be affected by that, even though we are less than 500 people, and we were recognized as a world humanitarian
Intangible heritage of humanity by UNESCO.
Yes. That one. Dice que tienes que decir cómo vives, qué haces.
Yeah. Ñuka kawsayta rimashina. Bueno, ñuka kawsamushkani ñukas ña wiñasha chukuy rikusha payna tukuriuta rikushkani ñukas ña rukuyasha chungishkay watay karita apirani kawsasha nisha. Mana alli chara chikari was mana kuyranamuna ishkayta charirani wawata chi ñuka shukta pariwagarani casi shuk watayu, shugara posaga watayu. Chi ñuka wawata wanchinawra ñuka me sintirigarani chi llaqtawaypi. Ñuka yayami kuagara pay yachaykunata. Chiraygo sintirigarani ñuka mani nisha kay allpaypi kay chi llaqtaypi ña mana manchagarani karigonatas ñukalla nigarani ñuka mani nisha mana ñukata piwas rimana. Ñuka paykunata nigarani mandagarani kayta rankichik, kaytami paktachinankichik, kayta ñukanchik llaqtata kuyurasha rinkawan nisha. Chaykunata rikusha kariguna paykuna piñawashkanawra wanchishun nisha porque maykankuna gapishkanu shuk llaqtamanta shamusha ñuka ñañata chasasha payga rabiasha rikuwashkara pay wawata wanchikpi mancharichun nisha. Mana manchariranichu, llakirirani mana kaylla ñuka wawata wanchisha pambanawra sachay uktu ukuy pangan sumak tapak ñuka mas kawshas mana tuparanchu wakasha sachakunay puñugarani sachay pasagarani killata. Chibi rabiarishami ñuka kallarirani wandukto pisha, yachasha nisha, rikusha nisha.
When I was very young, I got married and I had 2 children, and there was a lot of conflict with like neighbor communities, and I always have been protecting my land and my territory, and they wanted to scare me off, so they took one of my children and they hit them, and like I went deeper in the jungle and I looked over for days, weeks, months, and I couldn't find it. And then I promised myself that that'll make me stronger, and I promised myself that I'm gonna defend my territory no matter what. And I kept doing that, and I ditched my husband and I left, and now that's what I'm doing. I'm defending my territory. Do you want to ask her anything else?
One good thing that happened before she left.
Algo que te haya pasado bueno antes de que te hayas ido, y qué problemas tenías para venir acá.
Kana chi pasashka washa kay mas sinjiga petróleo mi shamora mas sinjiga. Que petróleo shamushka bandami kay vega mas tukuringaronchi ñukanchas ashilloga chasna ashikuatukosha kunan kay petróleo payguna surkushkayga ña allpa llambo viñenarishkay llambo wañushun pues chanda chita manchasha mi shamuni kay mama tukurishun nisha ñukanchas shuk runakuna imashinta ashka unkuna chasnallata ñukanchis mirarishun nishami kayma paktamushkani pagrachu ñiñi chitiaw runatas chay atun rukutas chimi pagapashka ñuka kayma shamungawa kay mashtikunata sakingawa mensajekunata paykunas kay mundo irikushaga ñukanchita yanapanawchun wankurisha yanapanakusha ringawa nisha chita tapungawa nishami shamushkani pagrachu ñiñi ashkata chasanisha rimapay kambas runawa chitiaw runata kay runapura ashkamanta.
One of the good things, my land is been threatened, is going to be poisoned, and I've been looking for a way to give that message to the world, and I was very scared of that. I was almost not going to be able to come here and like share my story and share the struggle of my people there. And just a little bit before coming here, the big guy over there give me give me the lights of hope, and I was able to come here and share my message and tell them that my land is being threatened to be poisoned by the oil extraction, by the oil companies, and I'm so very grateful to the people that made possible for me to get here, and to the big guy.
I thought you were talking about my son. Okay, I'm going to ask Josephine Madaman. Josephine Madaman, thank you, muchas gracias for your response. Josephine Madaman, and she lives the Facebook. She checks her Facebook messages all the time on her cell phone. I'm going to introduce her, say a few words for Josephine that many of you may not know about. She has walked around every one of the Great Lakes here in North America. Those of you that don't know, we have these large lakes, fresh water, but as you get closer to the east, that salt water comes in. It's a shipping route. When the white people came, they used these Great Lakes and brought their ships in to haul goods out. But she's walked through every one of those Great Lakes. She's known as the water walker, and she's here to share. Everywhere she goes, she talks about the importance of water. But many people don't know who she is. And so the next question goes to her that the other ones had responded to. So Josephine Madaman, please share with us, who are you?
Bonjour. Josephine Madaman Dishnikas Wasi Sindo Dem Bidaske Shnikas Nishnabin Nikasia. I've introduced myself as Josephine Madaman. My Indian name is Bidasige, which means one who comes with the light. And she is of the fish clan, which is the Wasi Sea fish clan. And she is also a grandmother and a great-grandmother of 13 great-grandchildren, 13 grandchildren, and 5 children that she has brought into the world. She lives in Wicomico. She's from Wicomico Reserve, Wicomico, Ontario. But she lives in Wiquedong, which is Thunder Bay, Ontario. And as a Nishnabekwe, she walks on the water, or in the water, not on the water. That is something that she has started recently, to walk in the water, knee deep, every day, every evening about 4 o'clock she walks in the water just to pay homage to the beauty of the water. And as she walks in the water, she also sings the water songs. She sings to the water and talks to the water, asks Creator for help. And she also remembers all the people in the world who do not have water, who have to struggle for the water. And as she sings and she prays, she acknowledges the beauty of the water that she is also walking in. And as she does that, she also remembers the water, the Amazon, where we know that the water is very, very almost dying. She remembers the Africans who do not have water. She also acknowledges the Chinese and the Japan, where the water has been poisoned by the nuclear disasters. She remembers all these things that are happening to the world. She speaks to the water about those issues. And as she also remembers the ones that have yet to come, 7 times 7 generations that will come and walk in this water that she walks in, that she looks at the water in the center of the lake, where she can't see the end of the lake because it is so beautiful. The Lake Superior is just like the ocean. And as she stands there, she feels the waves of the water coming over her. And as she does that, she takes the water, a little bit of water in the bottle, which she says she will take to New York City to intermingle with the water of the Hudson River. And as she does that, she feels the beauty of the water. And it's almost like the water is speaking to her, telling her that things will be okay. Wherever you go, you will be blessed by whatever water that you come across. And as she sings to the water and she talks to the water, she hears many things. She hears the prophecies of old, prophecies of there will come a time when the Spirit will come out of the water and bring the message, if we're ready to hear the message. And if we're not ready, then we will suffer many, many disasters. And she remembers the prophecies of our grandmothers, grandfathers, who have been of old, and that she also remembers her brothers and her sisters. She has 2 brothers, 1 sister. She is of the Ojibwe. Her father is Ojibwe and her mother is Odawa. So we call her Chippedawa. And so we acknowledge the ancestors through the water, because we know the water has many stories. Every droplet of water has many stories. And so when we think about how we as Anishinaabe people have to take care of that water, to love that water, to take care of the water, and speak to the water and pray for the water, we know that she is listening. We know that she will talk to you even in your dreams. And we remember the spirits of the water, which is the Binabe Kwe, which is the water man, the water woman, also known as how would you say that? Binabe Kwe. Mermen and mermaids. They are of the water, and they have been seen by my grandmother when she was a young woman. So we know that for a fact that there are mermen and mermaids in the water. And as she prays to the water, as she sings to the water, she remembers all these things that have been passed on for generations, because she has walked the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River that flows into the salt water, where the fresh water meets the salt water. And she remembers all these things, and she speaks to the waters. And as the water was intermingled here in New York City, the water from Lake Superior and other lakes, other waters, people brought waters. We witnessed the waters, how beautiful it was when it really woke up. It was beautiful when we did the water ceremony. And so that is who I am. I'm also a midday person of the Three Fire Society, and I am not 4th degree Midewan. And so that's who Bidasge is, and that is the one beautiful thing that happened was the water that she brought to the New York City, that intermingled with the spirit of the water here. With all these things, I was saying miigwech for listening. Aho miigwech, miigwech, miigwech.
Okay, and we come to Candy Marset. And many of you have, those of you who's been to a Power Shift gathering, Power Shift, this is, I don't know, thousands of youth and students in the United States have come together. I think Canada also has had Power Shift gathering, bringing the youth and the students in the universities and colleges together around climate justice. So she has been involved with that, bringing Native, indigenous youth to that, to put color to this movement, to put color to the movement. So share with us who you are, Kendi, please.
Okay, Tom. He's my boss. Gotta listen. No. Dosha Maragua Marashima Ishuya hits. Hello, friends and relatives. My earned name is Eagle Woman. I am Mandan Hidatsa Rikara. We currently reside in North Dakota in what the government likes to call the Fort Berthold Reservation. To us, it's just always been our homelands on the Missouri River. I'm a Waterbuster clan on my dad's side. And I don't have a clan on my mom's side, and that's also where my German side comes in. And French-Canadian side comes in. And that's kind of part of my story. I've always been sort of walking in two worlds. Ever since I was young, I used to be like, well, I just like everybody. I don't care what color your skin is. And then all the Native girls were like, no, you either hang out with us, or then all the Maishis, all the white girls were like, no, you either hang out with us. You know, which group do you belong? And I was like, I don't know. I just want to like everybody. But it was kind of hard. It was kind of difficult growing up that way. And it still is, actually. It's crazy because yesterday they asked me to speak at the press conference, and I was like, oh, I forgot my regalia. And so I wasn't wearing my buckskin dress. So the press was like, we don't want to talk to her. But when I was in D.C. and I got arrested wearing my buckskin dress, it was like, so they have an image of what we look like, I guess. And I remember Crystal was like, I got to go take this dress off. I'm feeling like a token Indian here. And I was thinking, yeah, it is kind of like that. It's kind of hard. I have a daughter. As soon as Tom said my name, she was like, I could hear her back there. Ayana, she's 14 months. Yeah. Thank you. And yesterday during the march, we didn't have her buckled in. She wanted to buckle herself, so we were letting her, but she stood up in her little stroller and she put her fist up, barely pushing her. It was really cool. But I was born and raised in North Dakota, and in western part of North Dakota. A lot of people think of North Dakota as just like, who lives there? It's just flat, barren, but it's not in the western side. We have the Badlands. It's really beautiful. It's God's country, some people say. But now all this fracking is happening there. And I know Jahan is sitting there saying, I knew it was coming, because I always cry. I always say I'm going to be strong, you know? But it's, when I think about the beauty of the place in the night, I can just visualize all of those oil rigs that are just spewing out all kinds of toxic pollution into our lakes and streams and rivers. It's just hard to not cry and get emotional. And that's where I come from, is a place where I always wanted to live because it was so beautiful, and now it's just being sterilized. The land is dying. And sometimes I feel really powerless to do anything about it. I find myself stuck in apathy sometimes. I just don't know what to do sometimes. I don't even want to get up and turn my computer on and answer the phone and get on a call because I just don't know what to do. So, and then I come to places like this and I meet new people and I get to see all my relatives again, and then they remind me that, you know, there's a lot of hope in the world. There's a lot of good things we're fighting for still, and that if they, you know, everybody's dealing with the struggle and they're still in the struggle, and so I'm going to be in the struggle with them, you know.
One good thing.
And now Casey says I have to tell a good thing. I was getting there. One good thing is that we got the mic away from Tom and Dallas.
What did you call this?
The Gold Tooth Show. So I didn't really want to give it back. No, some really good things, you know. Just I have a lot of family at home that's watching from afar, and I've got nieces and nephews, and they're all rooting me on, and they're like, go Auntie Candy, and I'm like, yeah, that's really cute. My daughter's getting 2 more teeth, which, you know, is a good thing in many ways. Sometimes kind of challenging. But that yeah, she's kind of crabby. But yeah, so I just wanted to say Matsugiradz, thank you for hearing a little bit about myself. It's always good to be here with my relatives and my friends, and I wasn't going to say anything about Power Shift because that's been a struggle, the diversity piece, getting some color like Tom said, but it's all right, it's going good. And I don't know what else to say. So Matsugiradz, thank you. I'm going to hand it back over, unfortunately, to the big guy. Thank you.
The big guy. Well, I'd like to quickly recognize our place-based communities here in New York, Rockaway, the Bronx, New Jersey, Brooklyn. There's many others I don't know. Because I learned a lot here because I come from the rural areas, I come from the country, so I really don't come to the cities that much. But this Hurricane Sandy, I mean, it really affected folks here that I did not have understanding to. So when she said, you know, this thing about Power Shift, there's a movement of bringing the frontline communities up to the forefront, the voices. This is what's called the environmental justice framework. We're dealing with racism in this country here. So it's where our people of color, that's what we're saying, have had to literally fight our way to the front of the environmental movement. So all the people who are here that have the effect, who from New York City, raise your hand, raise your hand. All the ones from these communities, who's been affected by Hurricane Sandy? Raise your hand. We go out to you in support of you. We worked it out so that we're walking behind your leadership in this march. It was very critical. We wanted to do that, but also wanted to lift up who we are. We are the first peoples. We are the first peoples of the Americas. We are your older brothers and sisters for those who settled here. Whether it was your own choosing or whether you're forced to come here. So I'd like to have another question, and then we're going to have another one of our musical groups coming here on stage. But share with us some of what's happening with the environment. Some of you already shared that already. If you already shared that, and what is it that motivates you? What keeps you going? What gives you that strength? Candy just shared that. And she might take this a little deeper, I don't know. But I'm going to share with us what's going on in your community that you're here to tell your story. Just give us a little snapshot of what that is, what's happening. And then, what are the challenges with getting help? How is it challenging to get help to resolve and provide solutions to that challenge? So I'm gonna have Gloria respond to this one. Okay.
Bueno, ñukallaktay biga imashti mana charinchichu kay kullki samita kay ñukanchik imashtikunaypi satiringawanisha abogadokunawan chisamimi mana tiyan ñukanchita mana kunata munangachu ñukanchik estadoga partimanta chiraykuma ñukanchikga kaykunamaga shamunchik chisami wawanta maskanqa porque ñukaqa sacha ukuma kawsakani avión yaykushkay mana mayanllayga chay ukukunamas yaykusha llaqtakunay kuytasha chakian puringañipiqa killa unayta purishkay paktanasha chisamirayku chari allianma yakaypi kullkiwata ningaqa pero mana ñukanchik mikungaqa ñukanchik sachay charinchik tukuy mikunata chi avionkunawan chi abogado gonarayku charininchima.
Yeah, we are the people from the jungle. We live inside our territory, and we're very spread out. And like, we want to spread the message among the Sapara communities of what is going on. And it's really hard to get from one place to another, and the only way we can visit our other communities is by flying, because our territory is extensive and we cannot it will take us months to get to another place. And sometimes we don't have the economical resources to do that. That green money is not available to us because we live right in the middle of the jungle. And sometimes I need that to move from one place to another. I don't need money for food because I have lots of food, lots of fish, that's fine with me, that's okay. And I care to, I sometimes, I would love more support for that, because my people need to, as well as the people here, and my people, we all need to hear the message, or we need to hear about the reality of what is the oil industry, how is that going to affect us? Because a lot of us in the communities don't know. We are living our lives there, and when we're threatened, we don't even know that we're threatened already. So that's important to get the message to all my people.
Abogado.
And sometimes we get in trouble, and we need money for lawyers. The government, suits us all the time, and we have to get to the city and get a lawyer. We don't even know what that is, but we still have to pay for that, and it's very, very difficult with the government not in our side.
I'd like Gloria to share with us, when I was down, I went not into her community, but I did have an experience to go into the jungle. It wasn't that far, but it was like a 4 or 5 hour canoe trip, dugout canoe. I went into the Seriaku community. But I want her to share with us, she has some relatives, her own tribal people that live not in Ecuador, but in Peru. And we're talking about planning to have an indigenous voice at the next UN the UN climate negotiations in Lima, Peru in December. So we're trying to raise some monies to get indigenous people there. And she said she wanted to take her uncle there, that he lives where there's this oil contamination, and those are things that many don't see. You know, so explain a little bit about the oil industry, how it's affect your people and your relatives on the Peru side.
Alto Tigre be peruano be ñuka achigona kausongona chibimo manchari San Jacinto ashkay mastishka chipaygona upiungona chiyakullatata chipungara paygona mastishka yakullatata upiungona chawpigona wañungona chi yachaqllami kawsawan chi llaktaypi mas chusku familia shinalla llampu wañunguna runakuna chi llaktaypi chiraykumi paykunas ñuna hora ñukanchik mana yachashkamanta kayta gari nishkanchik kullkiyata ganashun nisha wawata escuela charishun nisha kunan wañush tukurinchik nishami cuentawana hora chiraykumi tapawana hora apay ñukanchitas ñukanchis kay atun tandarinakunaypi cuintanakusha chari shayachinata ushanchikman paykunas manchakanawan peruano paykuna gobierno carcelman apakillashan nisha paykuna mana yapasinchichanawun kay Amazona Alto Tigre partimanta kay ñuka ayllukuna ñukanchik shinallata manawan manllaysikikuna sascha tukurinkuna kunan ashikku familia manawan y chimanta shuk runakuna wawakunas akchas illak wiksa kay pungishkakuna illakta riksiña ñuka mastikama yakuta rishkani chusku killata kay Ecuadormanta canoay rishkani mastigama intutugama canoale cabinawan chimanta rishkani masti lanchay Iquitusma paktarani y chimanta llata volteamarani casi posa killatuputa chimi riksirani chasashan paykunas participationkuna chitami rogaurani chi kay atun runa rukuta yanapay nisha paykunas rikunawchun paykunas mana charinawanchu paykunas yanka imashitishinan kawsankuna mana organización peruano ukuypi uyariwmi IDCta mana rikukchan paykunata urapias mana rikuq.
My nation is divided in between the Ecuadorian Amazon and Peru. I have there are 5 big families in the Peruvian border, and they already have been affected by the oil industry. I took a canoe for 4 weeks down the river to visit my uncle. And the kids, the families there, have been drinking the water from the river. That's usually what we drink, the water from our rivers, and they're usually clean. But the kids and like the elders start getting sick. Their bellies started getting inflated, and they had some skin problems, and they just started dying. In the Peruvian side, they're the ones who've been most affected. They wanted to organize. They wanted to establish a case, but the Peruvian government started to send them to jail. To whomever that says anything, they'll just send them to jail, and they're scared. Most of usually the men in my community are very scared, and they don't want to do anything. The women, we have to organize, and I will love, I will love to. And I saw that they need more organization, and that's what I want to bring them all together to have one single, unitary, solid group that we can demand our governments to respect our territory and to respect our land. And that's why I asked the old big guy over there to help us do this gathering and help us like build this union for my community, because we need to, since we're very little, we need to be strong, and we need.
Pero no anda ñucachita pasharina paitaruga oranya pasharin kanisha November participan kanisha.
In November we want to do the gathering. We want to participate. Maybe we can bring you over there, and we can have the gathering like. And to meet with the elder, the yachite, my uncle, he can show you through his visions what is going on there, because he already knows what's going on there, and he would love to share that with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, my son, get the next musical performing group ready. I'm going to have one more question here for one of our women here, and then we're going to have some music. What Gloria said was very interesting and very important when she said the men are afraid to step up, to step forward. This is something that I have been hearing for all my life, and I know that we've been talking about that more. Those of you that use the word movement, social movement, indigenous movements, is something that we have always talked about, especially my generation. It's what is our role as indigenous men? And what is our responsibilities? I'm going to ask my sister Josephine Madaman. We had talked about something like this, and just a couple days ago we came into clarification on what we're going to call each other. I said, do I call you auntie? Or do you call you sister? We settled on sister. We took each other as brothers and sisters in that way. And she's walked around every one of the Great Lakes. And she said something about the responsibility of the woman and the men. And as you get closer into the Great Lakes region, many of the cultures and the different indigenous tribes all have something in common where they say the women are the caretakers of the water and the men are the caretakers of the fire. So we have our distinct responsibilities. In one of our Protecting Mother Earth gatherings of our network, we had Diana Crodog, Leonard Crodog's sister. She said the same thing with the people where they live in the prairie lands. Almost the same thing that my sister here was talking about in relationship with the woman with the water and the men with the fire. But please share with us this teaching. You said something. When they started out as women to walk for the water, there weren't enough men there. There weren't the men there. I want you to share that little story and a teaching with the people here. Thank you.
Help me, which when we started the walk, Lake Superior is a very big lake. It took us 36 days to walk around it. And we only had one young man who stood up and said he would walk with us. He walked with us for three of the lakes. And it was very difficult for him because he got teased a lot about his walk with the women, the old ladies, and his young man. And finally we realized that we have to have men walk with us, because that is the way it should have been. It should be allowed. Because my uncle always told me that the man always walks beside the woman, not behind him or in front of him. He always walks beside the woman. When we got to Lake Huron, which is the lake of my where I was born, and we entered this reservation where we were asked by the chief and councilors. There was a big meeting there of Lake Huron. Robinson Superior chiefs were meeting. So we went there and we had a nice meal. We were hungry, of course. and they fed us, and they wanted to hear about the water walk, so we talked to them about the water walk and how the men are lacking in our work, because the women are the caretakers of the water and the men are caretakers of the fire. And because Father Son lights his energy on Mother Earth, we needed that energy of the men. And I explained to them how it was difficult for us to walk, because when I walk with staff in one hand and pail in the other hand, how difficult it is sometimes to walk in balance without the man beside the woman. And so we talked about how the man has to stand beside the woman. In the work that we do as women, we always look to the man, because the man has to be the caretaker of the woman, not only just to give birth or to plant his seed into the woman, but he also has to take the responsibility of caring for the baby even before it was born and conception. And so we talked to the men about that, the chief and counselors, about how important it is for the men to take their role beside the woman. It was after that, the next morning, that we had men along the highway waiting for us as we were walking. And they were standing by the highway, the young men, waiting to take the staff that we carried to walk with us. And ever since then, we've had many men coming forward and walking with us. As you can see the pictures when you look at the Mother Earth Water Walk, you can see the pictures where the men have stepped forward and walked with us in many ways. And so it is with the teaching of our grandmothers, grandfathers, Father, Son, and Mother Earth walk together, and Grandmother Moon is the one who was given that awesome responsibility in the beginning of life, when she was sitting with the Creator, and Creator told her, she was told by the Creator that you are the grandmother of our daughter, of Mother Earth. You are the one that will take care of her. And with that, we understand that Grandmother Moon takes care of the waters on the earth, and the Father, Son, Grandfather, Son takes care of the warmth of the families. And so that is that connection that we have with the universe. We're all united in the universe as male and female. And so I really believe that men have to start walking with the women, walking beside, not just to get them pregnant and then walk away and not have to take responsibility. They have responsibility from day one.
I'd like to ask that you all stand and give your thanks to our women here on the stage. They were very brave to share a part of their life with you, to share their families with you. And we're going to have them sit down here because we have some sisters here. I'm going to have Dallas introduce them. And I'd like to ask that they're going to sit here while you are singing the first song. And then after that, we're going to ask them to take a seat. To take a seat. And then we're going to have Dallas take it from there. We have some other musicians are ready. So please get ready, the other musicians. But again, I'm very thankful for the wisdom that was shared here. They have many stories to tell and others that they work with. So we're going to turn it over to Dallas. And they're going to sit here and be honored with this song. I don't know where Crystal's going, but they're going to be honored with this song. So I'd like to have you sit here because they're going to honor you with a song here, an appropriate song. And we're going to honor you and your relatives and your families back home. And this song is also honoring all of you out there, men and women and children and our future generations to come. Thank you.
How's everyone doing? Hungry? Yeah, that's right. Me too. Me too. So I had a bit of a fanboy moment the other day. Pura Fey is on my Facebook. She's one of my Facebook friends, which I'm proud of. And she's part of the group Eulali. And I've always been I've been a fan of Eulali for a long time. So I got to meet her before the march, and I was totally freaked out. I was like, it's so cool. It's like that and Ellen Gabriel. If some of you know Ellen Gabriel, she one clap. There should be more than that. But I fanboyed. I just was such a big fan. But we asked these ladies to come and to sing and perform. There's such a close relationship, as I've spoken before, between art and activism and music. And as indigenous peoples, we're musically inclined. We love to sing. We love the sound of the drum. Wherever I've traveled throughout the world and meet different indigenous people, that's one thing that's common is we love music. We love song. So I want to pass it over to these beautiful, beautiful women here that are going to give us some great music. So let's give a round of applause for Eulali.
Amma sing just one more. It's pigeon dance song.
No, go ahead and sit there. Sit there. We're going to have Takaya come up. I believe she's ready. And we're going to have our two sisters here that just sang stay up here. And one thing that we're doing is lifting up our indigenous women's voice from the north of this Americas, all the way from Alaska. Faith. Gilma wasn't able to make it here with red oil. and bringing that voice from Alaska again all the way to Argentina. So we have indigenous women that we have identified that will be working together. They're all impacted by fossil fuel industries, and to form a treaty agreement as defenders of Mother Earth. And this interaction that they're going to have is this road to Lima, Peru in December of this year, and on to this Paris Accord where the UN is planning to try to develop a treaty on this climate crisis in 2015. So some of the women like Casey's here, Josephine, Candy, Gloria, they're all part of this initiative, and many others that could not be here. So I'd like to have Takaya come up, and she has some other musicians with her, and what is your seating arrangement you need, and Candy's going to help you. You know how there's a rehearsal for a stage performance, and the people, we didn't do that. So whatever you need right now, you're going to share your songs. And then after this, still part of the celebration, you're going to still stay up here. And I'm going to have, after you sing, we'd like to have all of our singers come and stand together. Stand together. And our final respect to our speakers tonight, I'd like to have everyone stand as we have one final song from our sisters here after they complete their song here with the Takaya. And then we have some refreshments and reception out here. So go, Takaya.
So this song is Earth Revolution, and it's about positive change and the importance of living for what you believe in, because I know many people, especially with a lot of marches, and there's anger and there's sadness, and I understand that. But when we say that we are going to die for our lands, that we are going to die for what we believe in, that is not the most beautiful, impactful, or powerful thing to do, because we have to live for what we believe in. So, here's Earth Revolution. Out from a distance, still got 1,000,000 miles to go, making a difference. The only trophy I want to hold, state of the nations. It's poison from pollution, greed and war. No, we have solutions, but actions speak louder than words. Oh, stop waiting till tomorrow. Oh, stop living yesterday, 'cause there won't be tomorrow if we don't change today. Generation now, children of the future, Earth Revolution. Creation's crying out and I feel her pain. I can't walk away, so I will do my part to fix what's broken, give back what we're taking, hope for the dawn of a new day. Calling out to each and every person, join me in the Earth Revolution. Let's go the distance. We are 1,000,000 voices strong, facing resistance. But there's there's a choice between right and wrong. Oh, stop waiting till tomorrow. Oh, stop living yesterday. 'Cause there won't be tomorrow if we don't change today. Generation now, children of the future, Earth revolution. Creation's crying out and I feel her pain. I can't walk away. So I will do my part to fix what's broken, give back what we're taking, hope for the dawn of a new day. Calling out to each and every person, join me in the Earth revolution. I've walked this great land. It used to be beautiful, it used to be home. And I've seen the river run dry, now communities have no hope. Where are the tall ancient trees? They've replaced them with their concrete dreams. We gotta turn this around. We can fix it right now. Generation now, children of the future, Earth revolution. Creation's crying out, I feel her pain, I can't walk away. So I will do my part to fix what's broken and give back what we're taking, hope for the dawn of a new day. Calling out to each and every person, join me in the Earth revolution. Calling out to every generation, join me in Earth revolution. Calling out to each and every nation, join me in the Earth revolution. Thank you. Thank you. So, hold on, I'm not done. Okay, so the second song that I'm going to be singing is called Turn the World Around. And the concept was derived from a Haida elder named, or Haida man, he'll appreciate it, called him elder. Haida man from Prince Rupert named Arnie Nagy. And he told me that to turn the world around and for any effective revolution to take root and to be initiated, you have to turn that world upside down. And you have to shake, and you have to shake, and you have to make noise. And further and deeper beyond that, you have to commit yourself to actions rooted not only in compassion derived from empathy, but compassion derived from a place of understanding and being witness to this climate change, not climate change, but climate catastrophe. Because we are as intricately interwoven into the future and near inevitability of climate change as the climate itself. Because the human and the non-human communities, the tree people and the animal people and the humans, our destinies and our futures are intricately connected from the moment that we first drink that water that comes from one worldwide well, from the moment that we breathe the air, from the moment that we walk upon the same foundation of life and join that understanding and respect of our Mother Earth, our collective mother. So when you shake and you shake and you shake in those upside down times, the people who are not rooted, not only rooted in their Mother Earth so they can get into that ancestral knowledge for nutrients, but they can grow and their branches can grow and they can play with the winds of change. Those people who are not rooted, who do not have love within themselves on an internal and external level where they can contribute to their community, those who do not have a hand to hold or are strong in where they stand, they will fall off and then you turn the world right side up. So this is a song. Thank you. Look down, you stand on common ground. Drink the water, breathe the air. Our roots in nature is what we share. The earth cries for unity, no end of opportunity. Every step's a front line, we're showing up our battle lines, hiding all the danger signs. But if you wanna turn the world around, you've gotta turn it upside down. Hand in hand, spread sparks, the bonfire of growing hearts. Save your false sincerity, we stand in solidarity. Elders and children all unite to keep alive our way of life, to keep alive our way of life. We've all got to unify, we've all got to unify. Join hands for the future of our land. Speak the language of practices. Mother Earth won't heal without our bandages. Final out and final measure to save the culture that we treasure. But if you wanna turn the world around, we've gotta turn it upside down. Hand in hand, spread sparks, the bonfire of growing hearts. Save your false sincerity, we stand in solidarity. Elders and children all unite to keep alive our way of life, to keep alive our way of life. We've all got to unify, we've all got to unify. Come and take a breath and hold, never government action. Let's raise our voice, speak to get reaction. Mother Earth can't take our word, so we must be silent no more. Yes, silent no more, silent no more, silent no idle no more. Solidarity, yeah, unity, yeah, culture, yeah, community, yeah, solidarity, yeah, unity, yeah, culture, yeah, community, yeah, solidarity, yeah, unity, yeah, culture, yeah, community, solidarity, yeah, unity, yeah, culture, yeah, community. Elders and children all unite to keep alive our way of life, to keep alive our way of life. We've all got to unify. Oh, we've all got to unify. Thank you. So, in closing, we have a voice. We've been given this voice according to my First Nations culture, the Sliman Nation. We've been given this voice by Creator, this mechanism of communication, of transmitting and communicating thoughts, prayers, and actions. And we have to use this voice to speak for those who have no voice, or to speak for those whose voice goes unheard. And we have a future. And let's not fight for that, but let's defend for that, and let's heal for that. And we have a responsibility, because as I said, we all breathe the air, we all drink the water. We can only go so long without breathing that air. We can only go so long without drinking that water. And how long can we go without greed? How long can we go without corporate profit? How long can we go without oil and development? Oil and gas and greed. And we all walk upon this Mother Earth. We are all her children. So let's work together. Thank you.
Let's give it for Takaya and the guitar player. Let's give it for Yolali. Yolali. Thank you very much. And let's give it to our aunties, our sisters, our nieces, and their voices today. Thank you very much. This concludes this session.